The opulent chamber within the astral realm pulsed with an uneasy energy. Elliot, his amethyst eyes gleaming with a predatory hunger, sat at the head of the table, his gaze fixed on a shimmering orb that displayed images of Alice's life on Earth. Beside him, Advin, his face etched with grim determination, his eyes narrowed with a calculating glint. Other figures, their faces obscured by shadows, lurked in periphery, their presence radiating an aura of power and menace. "Rumors are swirling," Advin said, his voice low and menacing. "Word is that Cardi has found his vessel." A murmur of concern rippled through the group. Cardi, the ancient centaur god, was a force to be reckoned with. His return could disrupt their carefully laid plans, their quest for control. "We must remain vigilant," Elliot said, his voice calm but resolute. "We must ensure that Alice remains under our influence." "But she's changed," Tyrion, a tall, gaunt figure with piercing eyes, interjected. "She's stronger, more resilient. She's no longer the pawn we once were." "That's why we need to act swiftly," Elliot said, his eyes glinting with a sinister gleam, "before she becomes a threat to us." Alice, who had been observing the gathering from the shadows, felt a surge of fear. She knew she was being watched, her every move scrutinized, but she also felt a newfound strength, a determination to protect herself, to protect those she loved. She stepped into the room, her presence shattering the silence, her voice ringing through the chamber like a clarion call. "You will not touch me," she declared, her voice filled with a power that made the very walls tremble. "Not ever again." The room fell silent. The figures turned to face her, their eyes widening in shock and disbelief. Elliot, his face pale with surprise, stared at her, his amethyst eyes blazing with a mixture of fury and a forbidden desire. "Alice," he gasped, his voice a mixture of disbelief and possessiveness. "But how?" Alice, her green eyes flashing with a newfound strength, met his gaze without flinching. "You will not win, Elliot," she declared, her voice ringing with defiant power. "I will not let you." The room crackled with tension, the air thick with unspoken threats and simmering resentment. The game of gods had taken an unexpected turn, and Alice, the pawn they had sought to control, had become a player, a force to be reckoned with. The battle for her destiny, for the fate of the realms, had just begun, and Alice was wide awake for the show. The rain hammered against the windows of the Spokane farmhouse, a relentless torrent that mirrored the storm raging within Alice's mind. Curled up on the plush sofa, a steaming mug of tea forgotten in her lap, she stared blankly at the dancing flames in the stone fireplace, her mind a battlefield of fragmented memories and warring voices. Alice, or rather, the personality currently at the helm, a weary woman who called herself Sabrina, closed her eyes, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. She had found a semblance of peace here in their secluded haven. 5 acres of tranquil countryside nestled amidst the rolling hills of Spokane. Byron, the man who loved her unconditionally, the man who saw beyond the shattered fragments of her soul, was her anchor in the storm. But the darkness lingered, a constant shadow that threatened to consume her, a reminder of the life she couldn't remember, the life that existed somewhere beyond the veil of her fractured reality. She had come to understand her personalities, the fractured pieces of her identity that emerged and receded like the tides. There was Gigi, the fierce protector, the defiant warrior who shielded her from the harsh realities of the world. There was the baby, the innocent child who emerged in moments of vulnerability and fear, a reminder of the childhood that had been stolen from her. There was Glenn, the playful trickster, the mischievous spirit who sought to distract her from the pain. And there were countless others, Mater, Ashira, Pure Deem, Trent, Richard, each a facet of her fractured self, each a voice vying for control. But amidst cacophony, a new awareness had dawned. Some of the voices, she realized, were not her own. They were different, stronger, filled with a fierce protectiveness and an unwavering love that defied the darkness that threatened to consume her. They spoke of a world beyond her comprehension, a realm of magic and wonder, a place where she belonged, a place she couldn't remember. They called her Alice, a name that resonated deep within her soul, a name that whispered a forgotten power, a destiny waiting to be fulfilled.